are back, everyone. This is the Flyin podcast. I'm here tonight with Sam after a glorious FC Cincinnati win against CF Montreal this past weekend. Sam, the boys were buzzing this game. How we doing tonight?
Doing good, doing good. Man, we snapped a streak, didn't we? Feels good to be back in the win column. And next game up for us is hell is real, but we get a week off due to international break. We'll touch on a little bit of both of those, but feeling real good, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you win by 3 goals, always a good time, especially after 4 straight losses in MLS play. So we really needed this one. Match day 27, 4-1 win against CF Montreal, like I mentioned. We'll get into that, like Sam had said, second half of the episode. We'll talk a little bit on a couple different things, some ex-players that we have playing abroad that have been doing well. We'll look at a little bit of what Hell is Real is going to shake down to be. We'll have more details on that next week. And then finally, we have something interesting, a little nod to the Bengals season starting. So we'll have an interesting topic to talk about with that. But Sam, this game in the lineup that we had, there was a lot of questions, without Lucho, without Yedlin. Number one for me was like, who's going to be the captain? And in this game, you had Miles Robinson for the first time captaining FC Cincinnati. 6 different player to wear the captain's armband this season, which I think has got to be a record for our history, especially in the MLS.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've played numerous competitions this year. So being able to kind of rotate the squad a little bit more and get some more captains up there, people with, that leadership quality that we're looking for. As well as in the back, you see, a switch between, Waziem and Robinson as well, lineup wise. So I think I don't know, like it was interesting that he still gets the captain's armband, but isn't the center back. Usually, whoever is wearing that armband in the back line, as far as center back wise, is going to be that, one in the middle. So I thought that was interesting that they moved him back to the right center back position.
Oh no, they had Robinson in the middle.
I thought he was on the right center back.
No, I at least at the start of the game he was there. Awazium, I think, was prior they had switched. So there's your reasoning. So that center anchor there, it furthers
Oh,
your point.
yeah,
Furthers your
furthers my
point.
point.
But yeah, I mean, in this game, you get Orellano back out at left wing back. You had Murphy back in there. We didn't see him start against Miami. Robinson, Awazium. We had Alvis Powell on the right. We hadn't seen him in several games. Buka, Obi. We had Kubo and Nico kind of as the dueling 10, and then Kelsey. So we went back out with the sword formation. Weren't sure, after the stretch, what that would look like, but had to put Kubo up more forward, I think, and that was the smart play in this game. Scoring goals, that's what we needed. And early on in the game, I think we somewhat dictated, how the game was going to go. We had a lot of chances. At one point we even had a free kick from outside the box that, Orellano just drills against the crossbar with a little bit of help from a save. But yeah, a lot of opportunities. We had like corner after corner. That was the big thing that stuck out to me. But especially in the first half, 22nd minute, Miles Robinson gets a yellow card, Sam, and kind of looking around, and I had seen previously, if he gets a card, he's out. And so hell is real. No Miles Robinson, at least for now. Hopefully we get an appeal on that. But was very interesting for a play where I feel like their player, went down and made a demonstration of it. And that's kind of why Miles ends up, getting a card. But he had maybe one foul prior to that and already gets a yellow card. Like that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean that's probably something that Montreal definitely scouted beforehand. Looking at the back line of FC Cincinnati, we'll talk a little bit about Murphy here in a little bit, but Robinson and Murphy going into this game, one yellow card, and they're suspended for the next one. So being able to try and play off of that as Montreal, I mean, smart, I guess, if you want to call it that, but I don't like it as far as being able to target our defenders and kind of make a mockery of it, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't affect them for the next game, but it could
No, yeah,
affect
it's
how
yeah.
you continue to play, our players. Like if our guy
Mhm.
goes on a yellow at that point, like you just keep him in the game because he's going to be suspended regardless. So you just let him go. But yeah, it was interesting because you have that early on, And then, in the first half as well, you get another yellow card, like you said, in Murphy. So, and he's out for hell is real. So both your center backs, or two out of the three, get yellow cards. And like, how's that going to change your team? But to be honest, like, CF Montreal didn't really even have a shot, honestly. Like, they got their first shot, I think, in the second half, and their first shot on target in like the 80th minute. So they were not threatening. It was just a matter of time for us to score a goal. 36 minutes, Sam. Kevin Kelsey gets his goal, long awaited, honestly. It's been a minute since he scored. What did you see in this play?
Yeah, I think in this play, I think the biggest thing that stands out to me is just the cross in general and the play in the box. I thought we got a lot of service to Kelsey in this game, which was great. I know we'll touch on it a little bit later, but yeah, he has been phenomenal as of late, the past couple games here, being able to play up top. And I was telling you in our chat, like him and Nico up top, like I had a feeling that this game was going to be a good game with those two up top. Didn't really have anything to back it up, but I felt like those two were going to be able to bring something. And I mean, it probably like what was it going to be on target if I hadn't taken a deflection? I mean, it was close. It looked like it may have like was going to go off the post or maybe like sneak in something like that, but takes a wicked 90-degree deflection and goes right in for us.
I mean, yeah, honestly, what you're taught as a striker is just put it on frame. And you have bodies, that are around the box, whether they're blocking the keeper's vision or, if it's drawn that it hits off his shoulder and off his thigh and goes in. Like, Sam, it counts the same,
Hmm.
So you just put it on target. And before last, I'd say month and a half, he had been slowed down, but recently, like you mentioned, a little bit hotter form. He had been putting balls like over the top. We saw during Leagues Cup where just didn't have composure and would just real quickly blast it, and it'd go 10 rows over. So better composure on this one. Beautiful ball, like you mentioned, by Orellano from out wide. This game, especially, they really dictated, let's get crosses into the box. And like you mentioned, Nico, pretty big player, and Kelsey, obviously, huge player. But you got to get service into these guys. And you saw more of that in this game. And we were honestly like more threatening that way. So I love the shout for that, especially in this play. Great composure in the end, though, 1-0 going into half. Felt like two or three, especially with Orellano, wanting so many different times just to rip it and does hit the crossbar, at the 1.2. I've never seen a more complete performance in terms of free kicks in a single game. Like, just unbelievable. And we'll touch on that later. But from top to bottom, the dude's just been balling. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll get into it, I guess. 53rd minute, we have a VAR situation where, is it a PK, Sam? I don't know. There's this play on Kelsey that's outside of the box, supposedly, that VAR calls back. At the moment, we're thinking, oh, it's PK, and Orshano picks up the ball, goes over and says, hey, I'm going to take this. And, it gets called back. We go. We take the free kick anyway, deflects in, two deflected goals. Still doesn't matter. It counts the same. But for his shot, I think it would have been on target. It probably would have been a save if it wasn't deflected. But again, that's why you have these dangerous opportunities, why you hopefully step up your game in free kicks and corners, which we had been kind of slacking on earlier in the year.
Yeah, like you had mentioned, I think it was one of those games where Orshano, I'm sure he walked into the game, or at least, during warmups, probably did a little bit of free kicks, and he was like, I feel dangerous. I feel dangerous this game. Like something's happened in this game, especially, you see the first half, right? I think first one, goalkeeper saves it above the bar, right? Second one, he hits the crossbar and it's kind of
Right.
saved by the keeper. And so you're thinking like, okay, like if he gets a third opportunity, right? Like third time's a charm. And so he's able to slot it away off of, a defender's, I think like elbow or arm or something like that. Um, but yeah, I think it was just another great opportunity. Kelsey, for him to be able to get in a position like that. I know a lot of people will look at it and be like, oh, well, there's minimal contact, but if there's any contact at all where the defender's pulling you back, that's, honestly, it could have been, if he had pulled him back any further, it could have been a red card because of, goal saving opportunity there.
Well, tell me
Um,
how that's not a denial of a goal
yeah,
scoring opportunity.
yeah.
I mean, if he's clear in on goal and the guy drags him back, like that's at least a card, at least, right? But if it's a dog so, then it's a red card.
Tell you what, that turf came up real quick though.
Sure did. Which shout out to the grounds crew. It looked better this game. Field, turf, whatever you want to call it, better condition. It's getting its roots. So it's improving. It's not going to make my card of the week this week. So, but shortly after we get spoiled by a free kick goal, we get just the most amazing goal that you'll never get to see the first part of if you're watching live. Because let's be honest, he sets the ball down by the opposing coach's box, and you're like, oh, he's going to just kind of loft it up to the strikers. The wherewithal to look and see that the keeper is off his line. He does his post game interview, and Orellano says, oh, I saw that he was cheating out. And, he gets the just thought in his head like he did against Philly. Let me just put this right over the keeper here, real quick. Unbelievable. I mean, Orellano just drills it over the guy, full length trying to save it. One hops into the goal. So power, accuracy, all of it, on point. Up his FC 24 free kick abilities. Let's see it. We still don't have a confirmation on how far this goal is, but like I reported, I'll say it multiple times this episode. I'm still wanting to know, is this the longest free kick goal in MLS history? 2021, Lucas Ryan, like 56 yards. 2022, or 2021, whatever year it was, but it's been a couple years. This is the newest one. You got to update the stat. Come on, give us the stat. But yeah, Golazo, I saw the ball apex maybe going over the keeper. Didn't even see the beginning part of it. And I guarantee out of the 25,000 people in the stands, there's a lot of the people that had the same exact thing.
Well, I know a lot of people like I mean, you could probably put this one up there. It's definitely, goal of the season, right? But as far as like up there for MLS goals all the time, if you want to put it in that conversation, but don't want to put it number one, that's fine, right? Or like top three, whatever. However, you have to put it at least number one or number two for the most casual goals of like best casual goals of all time because he does it so effortlessly and just with so much class. He walks up, takes a free kick like it's nothing, and to strike it perfectly, Ryan. He strikes it and it doesn't even like curve. Like a lot of the times, guys, when they shoot it from distance, will either like swoop it from the left and it'll go to the right, or it'll come to the right and go to the left. This is literally just a pinged ball, just straight in. Absolutely insane how he's able to do that so casually. And if I hit that, I'm freaking out. But he's just he's just jogging to the corner after that, going over and celebrating like it's nothing. And I'm like, man,
I got to
24
pose the
years old,
question
man.
to you. We talked about it earlier in the year. Orellano half field goal against Philly versus Barrial goal. Now we have to up that. He
Oh,
said, I'm going to one up what I did earlier and do this 70 whatever yard, goal on this free kick. Is that one better than Barrial, Sam?
oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't know.
Technicality wise, like striking it out of midair perfectly into the corner
Yeah,
is always
yeah.
going to be better. But just to be able to put it on target like that and to see the keeper and to place it over, like any goal you're getting from midfield or beyond is just incredible.
This I think the soccer IQ behind it like makes it even better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just wow.
So
Incredible.
funny part of this was, Laurel asked Pat after the game, does Orellano get, the reins for taking free kicks? And Pat goes, well, he gets the reins for taking free kicks beyond half field. And I thought that was just hilarious, his answer to that. Which the dude's got the green light. Now keeper's got to be,
Oh
watch.
yeah. If they don't know now, then
Yeah.
they
Where's
haven't learned their
Tyler Miller
lesson.
for DC United, who sits at midfield every game? But yeah, past that, I mean, you're up 3-0 at that point, and then you get a Santos goal in the 71st minute, which was just nicely taken by him, slots it by the keeper. Again, it's been a Santos summer. It's just been really good to kind of see him round into form off the bench. I really think that's his prime spot is as a spark coming in, changing the speed on these defenders that are tired at that point. But to see him finish it one-on-one with the keeper, I mean, how many times have we seen him, wide here or there on these one-on-one situations? So happy to see that. Not happy to see that, CF Montreal gets a goal. I really wanted a clean sheet for this game. So a little bit of a lapse there in the back. But again, like I mentioned, first shot on goal that they had was the 80th minute. So, I mean, how mad can you be with the defense at that point? Finish the game out, though, is the thing.
Yeah, as far as the Santos goal, I mean, you had hit it, on the head there. He's really turned it up as of late on the bench. In his last four sub appearances, he has 2 goals. So he's really been turning it on in all competitions for us, being able to show up off the bench there. And as far as giving up that goal, it was just lazy defending in the back from Miles because he got caught up. I think he was kind of looking at the ball rather than looking at his defender and kind of lost sight of that, and he snuck in between our 2 center backs. So is what it is, but there at the end of the game, I did feel bad for Roman because if it wasn't for that chance, he definitely would have had a clean sheet because the last 2 chances in the game, he stood on his head and actually made some incredible saves.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, you can't look past that because I mean, one is just point blank save. The second one is another really good save. It could have been 4-3,
Mhm.
really at that point.
Yeah.
And we'd probably be singing a different tune right now if we beat them 4-3. So Roman, shout out for that, concentration, even though you're up so much at that point.
That it and the reason I feel bad is because that would have been Roman's first clean sheet since June 29th.
Oh man. Oh no. So, but I was talking with I think I was talking to Zach, who was next to me at the game though, and we had kind of a debate that, if Miles doesn't have his yellow earlier in the game and that guy's, on the goal, does he foul him and it's a yellow, but would you risk that's a red at that point? I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
don't
I don't know what
yeah.
I would do in that scenario. It looked like he was clearly behind him. How do you, get something on him, but without it being like a denial of that scoring opportunity? I don't know. It was an interesting thought to think about. And, honestly, it's probably smart that he doesn't get a red in that scenario because then it adds another game after the hell is real if he gets that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, s smart to, like, not, foul right there at that point, especially at the end of the game, you're up 4-0. What is 1 goal gonna do? But obviously, you wanna see the clean sheet as well.
Yeah, there was I mean, a moment earlier on in the season, right around like Copa America, actually, that he did have a red card on a very similar chance, and he fouled the guy, got a red card, was out for the next game. So I think he learned from that moment and said, you know what, I'm just gonna kind of do what I can, but not foul. But overall, can't be mad. 4-1, getting this turned back around. Like really, like we talked about last episode, we needed it, and we got it. What were your final impressions from this game?
Yeah, final impressions. Another thing that stood out to me, was the fact that our team as a whole had 90% pass accuracy. So that's efficiency from all positions on the field. I know as of late we had talked about how teams have been taking advantage of our sloppy passing a little bit and us kind of helping the other team out a little bit more than we should. Considering we got over 90% in this game, I think it's a turn in the right direction. Being able to hold on to possession a lot more and create chances for ourselves rather than the other team.
Yeah, no, great point. I didn't know about the pass accuracy. I mean, Pat definitely lit a fire under them and basically said like you need to get this together. And his biggest point to them was go back and watch the film. And it was really all mistakes that we had as a team. So yeah, they learned from that. Obviously, Montreal is not as good of a team, but you still have to go out and perform. And saying that, I felt like the back line was better, especially with Robinson in that position. Like I said earlier, I wanted that clean sheet, but still turnaround's great. Um, but past that, if you look at Orellano, Sam, like in this performance, man of the match day for the MLS, fifth team of the match day this season for him. Second on the team, behind Lucho, who actually has 12, which I think leads the whole MLS. But just the complete performance for him back in his more native position, if you want to call it, on that left wing back there. Maybe it's just the scenario in this game and kind of the free kick opportunities that he had, but We needed it, especially with Lucho out. We needed somebody to step up in a big way, and he delivered, which was really cool to see.
Yeah, dude is now third, um, I think third in goals on our team. I think
Yeah,
goes
you're
goals
right
to other
behind
than Kubo
Kubo
than
and
him.
mhm.
He's got seven now, so exciting to see him. Also, he's the second. This is second man of the match day, and Kubo has the other one. So nice to see him get two. Um, this season so far.
Yeah, no, great shout for that. Another interesting tidbit, FC Cincinnati, first team in the MLS to get 50 points back-to-back years. So we can kind of, go back and look at the past month and say, oh, we haven't been doing well. But as a season, on the whole and where we're at, obviously would want to be first, but like 50 points back-to-back years would have probably been a dream earlier on in the MLS, but it's just become the standard, right? And upholding that year after year and being in those positions, like that is the standard. We expect that. Anytime you have Lucho on your team, you have to be that way. So performing, Sam, what it comes down to without him, the first MLS win in club history while Lucho's been on the roster without Lucho, a part of the 18. I'll repeat that. First time we've won without Lucho on the 18 in the MLS match. Pretty crazy. I know we had won in Leagues Cup, but first time in the MLS, history for that. Hopefully that's the standard. Again, I hope he's on the field, but we can win without him is what it probably shows a lot of the players too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, everybody coming together has just kind of felt like, that big team win. People doing it at the back, people doing it in the front. And so really just being able to get 3 points out of this and being able to build on it. So when he does come back, we're a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, shout out real quick to London Agato, first MLS appearance for FCC. So good to see some of the
Another debut.
youngsters. Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, we've had a lot of these guys come in and make their debuts, right? So this is the game to do it when you're up, right? And maybe we see him coming up in Hell is Real. I don't think he starts, but we might need some depth in the back line. So good to see London getting some minutes in an MLS match.
Yeah.
I got a trivia question for you before we go to break here.
Yeah, give it to me.
When was the last time a player in the MLS had two free kick goals in a single game? And was it ever done for FCC before?
Whew. Um, I'm trying to think of like what I've seen, where I've seen it, and how long ago it was. Considering the graphic that you had posted asking the MLS, like, hey, what's the longest? I'm gonna go with the guy who was on that graphic, and that was Luca Ryan. I think I'm gonna go with him.
All right. And have we ever done it before?
I don't think FC has ever done it before.
All right. Well, stay tuned to the end of the episode and you guys will all find out. Hey, everyone. We have some exciting news. We are thrilled to announce a partnership with BetStamp and Sign Up Expert, opening up an incredible opportunity for you to join some of our favorite sports books to get the best odds and new user offers.
Head over to our dedicated page at signupexpert.com/flyinlions to explore a selection of sportsbooks tailored to your region, each with unique offerings.
If you're ready to take your sports betting to the next level and show some love for our brand, we highly recommend signing up for your next sports book through our Sign Up Expert link. Once again, visit signupexpert.com/flyinlions to place your bets today. Enjoy. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for listening to our sponsor. Go check out some of their info on betting if you guys are interested in that. We'll put out usually before every match day or a day before some of our bets that we have. I got pretty close to hitting mine. I think I had 3 shots for Orellano. I should have gone with the goal route with him. But Sam, what about you? Did you hit any of yours?
I don't think mine hit. I had a Buka goal
Okay.
on there, but didn't hit that one. I mean, you never know. He's been hot lately. So, but yeah, check out the tweets that we put out usually before the games and see if we can help you out any. See if any hit. Let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to roll into our cards of the week. There was some interesting moments again. Never fails to have some interesting moments in the MLS. But what'd you have for your card of the week?
Yeah, so my card of the week is going to be something that we talked about already on this podcast, but we're going to continue to beat it until we get an answer, and that is having no answer on the Orellano longest free kick goal in MLS history. Our tweet asking the MLS if it has been the longest free kick in MLS history got over 150 likes, 14,000 views, and we still don't have an answer. So the fact that Luca gets man of the match day and they tweet out, "Oh my gosh, like he scored from 70 plus yards out." Like give us a real measurement. Like what is 70 plus? Give me like an exact measurement so that way I can say he has it. Honestly, I'm waiting for PFF FC to beat him to it.
Yeah, at this point, like somebody's got to steal it, and somebody got to get that measuring tape out. Like I'll go out on TQL's field if you want me to go and like measure it for you, Sam. I'll go ahead and do it. That'd be kind of a cool moment. Maybe we could do a walk where we have like Luca and maybe us. We could interview him, and have
Yeah,
him
so it's
walk
kind of
the
like
amount of
Jay,
feet.
Jay Billis when he
Jay
did like the
Billis,
walk of the court. Yeah, and you
exactly.
interview that. Yeah, that would be beautiful. That would be
Let's
great.
interview him for 75 yards, and that's the distance. Like, Luca, what were you thinking on this shot? But yeah, come on, guys, give us an answer. We got to know. It trumps, Lucas Zelarayan, in this moment. Um, the crew right now is the MLS baby, besides Miami, we know that. But right now, everyone's, oh, Columbus this, Columbus that. Like, what a perfect moment just to say our FCC guy just trumped that record by them. Go and put it on there. Let's just do that right before hell is real. A nice little, what? Our player just topped them. Yeah, we love that. I was corrected on mine. There was a goalkeeper in 2008, which I believe for New York Red Bulls had one that was a free kick technically, but the stat didn't get counted until 2010. They didn't start looking at that until 2010. So from 2010 on, I'm going to go with that. It was also on turf, which is less impressive that, Luca did it on grass and got the bounce in. Like you could do it on turf and it'll bounce over the guys all the time, especially the turf they used to play on.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when I saw that, stat that somebody had said, I was like, well, I don't know if you read the tweet though. It says 2010, but I appreciate the insight.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they remembered it, right? Something triggered in their head. Like they saw a free kick at some point and it was a long one. Props to them. I mean, for looking that up. That's impressive. But yeah, this is definitely the longest that I've ever seen and probably will ever see. Like goal in general. When's the last time you've seen a goal past midfield like that? I mean, his other one was right inside of midfield or right around it, but I mean, this was way back, probably from Kentucky. I know everyone's been saying that, but for real
Yeah,
though.
you shot it across the river. That's what I think FC said.
Absolutely. But my card of the week, I'm going to go with the fact that the international break for soccer, world soccer, is right after the MLS returned. We had Leagues Cup for like a month and a half. We had two MLS games, and then we're going to have another, what, 1 week and a half to 2 weeks off. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, why can't we have played Leagues Cup during the international break? Like that's an idea, then it doesn't really matter as much. And it's not like the international window really matters. It's friendlies right now. We'll touch a little bit on the US men's national team and the fact that they're coming to TQL. I mean, I'm happy about that, but like we just started the MLS play again. Why are we going back to the international?
Yeah, I think that's interesting. For those who don't know, international break is September 2nd through the 10th here in the fall. Um, what's also interesting, Ryan, is the fact that there's 6 MLS games being played this weekend, right? So
Weird.
during during international break, there's still MLS teams that are playing. So it's one of those moments where you're like, is soccer happening this week? Like we don't know until we see results of games, and then you go, oh, well, thanks for telling us that there were games this weekend. And Leagues Cup ended August 25th. So the fact that you're talking a very, very short turnaround here, what I mean, literally 25th to the second is 7 days, right? So
Yeah.
that's insane.
One, it's right after a lot of the transfer windows close too. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna go join my new team, JK, I'm going to go to my international team real quick.
Yeah, speaking of, teenage Debbie, right?
Yeah, I mean, back in Zimbabwe right now, right? So that's the reason that he wasn't able to join our team, which, yeah, let's make that a card, Sam. He should be
Yeah.
with our team if it
Yeah.
weren't for this window. You know, so the question right now for him is, does he get his visa approved to be able to play in Hell's Real? I mean, that's a big deal. If he's able to come in and contribute right away, like especially with two guys potentially out on yellow cards, I mean,
Would
screw
be
the
huge.
international break.
Yeah.
On the flip
That would be
side of
huge.
it, though, who was your jersey swap, Sam? I had to give this one to you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So, instead of Ryan, taking it like he has the past, 10 weeks, it feels like, or at least since Lucho's been out, my jersey swap of the week is going to be Luca Orellano. Like we've said, week after week, he's been the guy trying to carry this team, with Lucho out. Once again, he shows class and excellence at 24 years old, a nonchalant free kick from 70 plus yards out. It's just not normal, right? So the fact that he already had the probable best goal of the season and then topped it with another one is just insane. But I do want to put out there officially, my opinion, this man is a DP. Write it in ink.
Do you want him to occupy that spot, though?
Ryan, this guy is killing it. He is killing it. He deserves it. He deserves it. I don't care. I don't care about what it means for the roster right now. My heart says he's a DP.
He is a DP level player that I would love to have on a TAM deal. Like, come on.
But
I mean, he's world class. Yeah. I mean,
eh,
absolutely right. He's that level of player. He's consistently like top two or three on the field, no matter what position. Like, there's not a lot of people you can say that about. Left wing back, all right, I'll be the best player there. Up top, in this three that, I've never really done before, all right, I'll go and do that as well. I mean, he's done pretty much everything you've asked of him and more in less games than even, Barrial did last year, like we've said. Like, he's going to be the probably player of the year at left wing back in the MLS. But again, like I said for the All-Star game, is that his best position though? I mean, that's impressive. And that's even more impressive for scouts that are looking at him moving forward. Hey, there's versatility there. He's not just this player on the wing. Um, yeah, I mean, we're beating it to the ground, but it's just been impressive to see the confidence for a young player like that. I mean, he's exuding it at this point.
yeah,
We saw it in training too. It's not like he just does it in games. Like when we got to go to the training, I mean, he was out there just balling on people. He tries the Rabona in this game on a through ball as well. So the dude was feeling himself. I don't know if you got to see that or not on it.
I did not know.
Yeah, he tries the, behind the leg through ball to I think Kubo on the run, which I was like, all right, he is really feeling himself at this point. But speaking of guys that are feeling themselves, after this goal that he had this game, Kevin Kelsey, he gets his sixth goal in the MLS season, finally gets another one on the MLS board. It had been a little bit, like I mentioned earlier. I thought really, honestly, probably played the best of all the forwards, Sam, in this game. Like Nico, I think, was okay. Kubo was okay. Kelsey stood out. He had constant effort up front, and really his press was what impressed me the most. Was really kind of like high line, leading the charge. Was trying to win balls, in the box on corners, free kicks. Was very active and earned the trust of Pat to play, a full 90 or close to it, I think, in this game. Which again, we've seen he's really been to what, like 60, 70 minutes, and then he gets subbed or the opposite. So to see him play more minutes is like promising to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in this game, like I said, he showed that he can be a consistent piece up top. He had the second highest rating on the team, obviously behind Orishano. And he showed up when we needed him. And earlier I had touched on getting him more touches in the box. Ryan, he had 5 touches inside the box this game.
Wow.
So being able to get him those touches inside the box close to where he can, kind of poach those goals a little bit is crucial. And so you can see what it does. He gets a goal in the first half. and he continues to be a menace in the box there throughout the rest of the game.
He's got to carry it over now. Let's see it in Hell is Real again. That's where he really shined, like for the first time in our eyes. Um, really just go and embarrass the crew at that point. That would be awesome. I think the earlier, like in the game that he scores, in this one, it really builds him confidence for the rest of the game. He just got to keep his head into it the full time. Really, that's what I mentioned it earlier. Pat's been hounding him about his composure, and just staying focused. And I think if he can do that, he's one of the best strikers on our team. But even within the league, if he really puts it all together. But speaking of former strikers, I'm going to talk about two of them here, Sam. We had some ex players that we haven't really touched on. I felt like this was a good moment to kind of shout him out. Brenner, if you guys remember him, our former striker, we haven't talked about him in a minute, who plays for Udinese over in Italy. He had the game winner against Como, which is actually Nico Giacchini's team that we have, Nico on loan from, but gets the game winner. He's got 2 goals and 1 assist in 4 matches for them. He's finally healthy. His quad is feeling better. He looks comfortable. He's playing kind of like a reserved number 9 or tucked underneath that main striker. And I think that's where he's really been excelling. He's not like that point person, which at some points we had tried to make him.
Yeah, it looks like he's kind of fitting in. He's healthy, right? We've seen a healthy Brenner and what he can do, and now Udinese is finally seeing that after a couple seasons of being injured constantly. But right now they're still at the beginning of their season. I think what 3 games in, 4 games
Mhm.
in Serie A, and Udinese is sitting in fourth right now, so they're in good form.
It's cool to see, especially at that level. Hey, if I want to go watch, the Serie A game, like we have guys that we can go and see. If we want to go watch Premier League games, we have Yerson Mosquera. So, 3 starts in 3 games for him. His team, at Wolves only has 1 point, but it really hasn't just fallen on him. He's had, several of the dark arts, if we want to call it, like we mentioned a couple episodes ago. But he's making his stamp, on the Premier League, for not having played a single appearance. He goes to Spain last year, plays a lot of minutes, comes back and wins over the Wolves manager and says, I'm not a sub, I'm a starter every single game. Good for Yerson or Arson, I should say. He's just been developing, so well over there. And I just wish he was on our team still.
Yeah, no kidding, especially for this next Hell is Real game. But
For real.
yeah, I mean, he's showed that he can start every game. Unfortunately, for his team, they're sitting at 18th right now in the Prem, second worst goal differential in the Prem, -6, and then they've allowed 9 goals in 3 games. So
Oof.
doesn't get much better for him because they got Newcastle up next. So we'll see if they can, scrape a point together or at least get a clean sheet for him.
I think in Newcastle just beat Tottenham, I'm pretty sure too. So hopefully Yerson or Arson again can get it together there on the back line for Wolves. But we had one other guy I wanted to just shout out. Brandon Vasquez has scored 2 goals in the last 2 games for Monterrey. He took a PK on this last one, which kind of shows me they have a new manager down there. Are they going in a different direction? Like, is he helping to kind of lead the charge forward for Monterrey? They've had a very disappointing last part of the league, I guess, for their Liga MX run. In Leagues Cup, they got knocked out, Sam. They didn't even make it to the other rounds, which was just a
Yeah, I think they
total
were third in their
embarrassment.
group.
Yeah, they lost to Austin. I think they lost to another MLS team as well, and then fired their manager. So it was kind of interesting to see, where Vasquez would fall with this new guy. But 2 goals in 2 games for him is impressive.
Yeah, right now Monterey is sitting in fifth in Liga MX, but um, the main thing that stood out to me, I saw the 2 goals that he had scored. Dude's got a new Fu Manchu. He's got a
He
little
does.
he's got some facial hair
He
growing.
does.
So I thought that was pretty interesting to see. Little
Honorable card of the
goatee,
week.
little yeah, honorable card of the week.
Do you like
You
it or
know,
do you not like it?
I kind of like it. I kind of like it. It adds to his Superman disguise. That's how I'll put it.
We just need the glasses now, and then he'll complete it. Yeah, I miss Vasquez too. You know, it had been kind of a little bit of an up and down year so far
Yeah,
for him.
yeah, yeah.
Early on in the season, he had a couple of goals, kind of cooled off a little bit. Lost kind of, I think, favor at the striker position to Bertarame, actually. But I'm really hoping with this new manager, and 2 goals in 2 games is great. Hope he can continue that for them. Hope we don't have to face Monterrey again. That was just so tough to kind of pick between that in that moment. But yeah, it's cool to see these former guys that are doing well. Like I said, just to be able to watch these games abroad, and say, hey, I know some of these guys. I've seen them play for our team, to go and support them, no matter how weird it ended, especially with like Brenner and stuff like that. But cool to see him starting to turn form back around, because he had struggled there for a while. And I think it was more injury related than anything.
Yeah, I think, seeing all these guys being able to, have some, I guess, experience with FC Cincinnati and going to do hopefully great things. They gave us some good moments while they were here, and we just wish the best for them. And so, like Ryan said, maybe one of these days they'll actually become, bigger and bigger names, and then I'll feel a little bit more confident in getting a jersey.
That's true. That'd be pretty cool. My other direction I thought you were gonna go was maybe we'll see him come back. And
Uh,
like, which one of these guys are gonna see, hey, I'm gonna step my foot abroad, and then I actually do want to come back to the US. It wasn't too bad. I want to make my family home in Cincinnati, like, Yedlin has, like, Miazga's done. A lot of these guys that come back and
yeah, I'd say
really do
I'd say
that.
chances are the lone American guy there, and Brandon Vasquez might be the one guy
Probably
to
the
come
one.
back there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, especially the ones that left from last year. And I wouldn't be mad about it too. I think he was pretty happy here.
Yeah.
But as we look, I do want to do a just preliminary look into Hell is Real, Sam. We'll do a deep dive for a preview, but just coming off this match, I mean, we have to kind of look at it. I really want to find out in the next week, like, has any appeal been made, for Robinson's yellow? I know Pat had kind of mentioned it. There was some of the transcript, from the refs about why they gave the card. But is there any way that we can fight that? Because I would love to have Miles back for this game.
Yeah, obviously, I think we're going to put in an appeal. It's just a matter of how generous, the refs and the league will be when they come out with that ruling. As we've seen, ruling takes a while, right? So good thing that we're off this week and we don't need them for until the 14th. So that's nice. So
Should I put that in the
don't
box
take
for good things for international break?
yes, yeah, yeah. Don't take your time though, right? So
Sure.
like
Sure.
I mean, if the process takes long, right, as we've seen for FC Cincinnati specifically, then we have allotted, a good amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah. I really hope, because like it seems like every year we do this, we've never really won any of these appeals.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
the refs don't like us. Like, let's be honest, they don't like us.
No.
And appealing to the league, when like Albright's been abusing the system, with transfers and all this stuff. But come on, I mean, like, we got to get one, and this would be a great one, especially for the like league. If you're looking at it like this rivalry, and you don't have Robinson, you don't have Murphy, like you want their best players on the field for these rivalry games. Like, why would you not go back and look at that? I think it's ridiculous, and hopefully they do come to some decision. But the other question obviously is Lucho's health. But again, international break, we're gonna put a tally in for a good thing. It's another week. Fully healthy by that point? I don't know. Is he practicing? It looked like what was it, last Friday? I'm pretty sure we saw a photo of him on the practice field. He was doing some of the team stuff. I hope, and I have to believe that I think he will be on the field to start this game, knowing what kind of game this is.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be, I think it'll be interesting to see where the bigger battle is between Lucho and his body or Lucho and Pat, because I know Lucho will definitely fight to be on that field. It's just a matter of who's going to win, right? But I definitely know that we're going to need Lucho for this game because to to Columbus's credit, they're in phenomenal form, right? And if we want to match up to that and kind of cut them at their knees while they're at their best, we need to do so with our best guys on the field.
I think we always have to just expect that when we play Columbus, we're going to have somebody out. Like there's always
Yeah.
going to be somebody out.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Earlier in the year, Yedlin was out. Last year, Miazga was out. This year, Robinson and possibly Murphy are out. Like it happens every single time. Every single time it happens this way. But you have to get up for the game. And like we did in the spring, like we showed out. We won. We beat them there. It's like their second loss, Sam, I think they've had in like what, 40 or 50 games
Yeah,
in the Crew Stadium. It's
I
insane.
think they haven't lost since July something.
Yeah.
Just in general, they've only got 4 losses on the season, so it's been a while.
Time to add another one. We'll do a bigger deep dive next episode. Real quickly, wanted to shout out our poll this week. Go ahead and put in for this. Ian Murphy, Alvis Powell made their 99th career appearance for FC Cincinnati this past game. One shy of 100. So who gets to 100 first? Murphy's out next game. Is Powell going to play? Do you guys all think that Powell's going to get his 100th appearance against Columbus? I don't know. What are your thoughts, Sam?
Yeah, my vote would be yes, because we're a pro Pal podcast and we root for him to, get that 100th game. But honestly, I don't know. It depends on what Pat's thinking as far as rotation wise, who he goes with in the back. Um, we'll talk more about this, next week as we do the deep dive. But I would hope that Alvis is able to get some time in there. He has showed that he can play center back at least as well as any other right back or left back that we have as far as a secondary position. So it'll be interesting to see. But my vote is Alvis. What you got?
Yeah, I think he's in. Probably the question would be, is it him or Yedlin in that center back role? Because both of them are available. Yedlin will be back. Um, you could probably flip flop. Going back to the first Crew game, Sam, if you think about it, Powell started at right wing back because Yedlin was
Hmm.
out that game. Came out in like the 12th or 17th minute or something like that. He had a hamstring injury. So kind of crazy to think about like the scenarios now and where we're going to play these guys. But again, maybe we'll find out, by next week, what things are looking like a little bit more. We'll do, like I said, a bigger deep dive for that. But I have kind of a fun transition here. The Cincinnati Bengals start their season on Sunday, Sam. I'm really curious to see your thoughts on this. FC Cincinnati players that would make it on the Cincinnati Bengals. Go. Let's hear it.
Do you want me to go lineup wise and then you can, dish in, or do you want me to just talk and
Whatever you
then
want to shout, and then at the end I'll kind of confirm or deny or add to.
all right, okay. All right. So players that I was just, thinking about, just I wasn't really thinking about what the Bengals need, just more as can they be NFL caliber players? Hypothetically, probably not. So my first vote would be Sergio Santos. He's going to be our QB. From what I've seen, the man can sling it with that left hand. So we're going to go QB out there. Okay. So next pick, Luca Orellano. Now, he could be a dual player for me. We're either going to have him as a kicker or a running back. And here's the reason. So, given the man can obviously kick from distance. So I like his chances as a kicker. We've seen his free kicks, obviously. So there's that. As far as running back, I'm not so sure he's got the catching ability for it. However, he's very shifty, very slippery. I'm sure he would be good with the ball in his hands moving around the field. Next one, I got Obi and Wobodo as a free safety. He would be a ball hawk. He'd be coming down from the top of the defense and just exploding into guys. I kind
I
of
love
see
that.
him
I love
as
that.
a Cam Chancellor, right? From back in the day for the Seahawks, just coming down and just nailing guys. The other pick, I've got Cheeto. Cheeto is my defensive end. He is the biggest body we got and the scariest guy, arguably, in the MLS. So seeing him come off the edge, just in general, would be absolutely terrifying. Last pick, I've got DeAndre Yedlin as a wide receiver. I think he gives me Wes Welker shifty, speedy vibes. Obviously, he's shown that he could be quick on the outside and can, really turn on the burners when needed.
Dude, you like nailed it. I
Thank
mean,
you.
you
Thank
you
you.
understood the assignment,
I'm
and
looking forward to football season as
the
well,
the
Ryan.
Bengals honestly should hire you, but specifically just for FC Cincinnati players.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sam really does great analysis on other teams in the city. It's phenomenal. No, nothing like it.
Yeah, for those who are at the open practice earlier in the season, Santos has got a just cannon of a left arm, throwing the small soccer balls into the second level like it was nothing. So yeah, love that. Orellano, like definitely got to be a kicker in my opinion because I have a better running back. Lucho's your running back.
Oh,
You got
jeez.
no one would see him. No one would see him. He would run behind the guys, and then he's so shifty. He's so low to the ground that you couldn't tackle the guy. You wouldn't be able to tackle him.
It's fair.
So
It's
that's
fair.
my running back.
Yeah.
Love the free safety shout. Like Obi is definitely the Cam Chancellor or Jordan Battle, of the Bengals right now.
Hmm.
Love that shout. Kevin Kelsey's going to be my tight end because I
Hey,
think he's
I
big
like that
body,
pick. Yeah.
lengthy. I think that would be a good shout there too. And then, Roman, maybe an honorable, just, if we needed like a kickoff guy or maybe a punter, I think that would be
I'd go, yeah,
the
maybe a
easy
punter.
shout for that.
Accuracy may not be there, but
Yeah.
he definitely kick it.
Yeah, for sure. I love the Cheeto and Yedlin shouts there too. The speed, especially with Yedlin, but just something fun that I thought would be interesting. I would love to hear everyone's thoughts. We'll put it out online. Let us know what you think or who you think would be a good player for the Bengals. Obviously, none of these guys are gonna make it. It is not a LeBron situation of dual, sport athletes. Maybe these guys played football when they were younger. We could go back and do some deep dives and see. We'll do a special post, just as, FCC guys that have played football in the past and all their photos.
Yeah, I'd probably, obviously a lot of the American guys you could possibly bank on having some type of multi-sport experience. However, I've grown up with a lot of soccer players and the hand skills, it's obvious that they stick to feet, right? So it may be a little tough, but if I had to guess, a guy like Nick Haglund, I mean, I'm sure he's a Cincinnati guy, probably played, some pickup football growing up in the park or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And one last shout. Patty Barrett of the USL days, the defender that we
Oh
had.
yeah. Oh, he's a rugby guy. He's yeah,
He's
he's
a
a
dude. That guy would make it on the Bengals 100%.
done. Yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if there's
If we're
anybody
if
that would
we're real
actually make the
shouts.
team,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Real shouts here.
It's Patty Barrett for sure.
Yeah.
But Sam, I got a trivia question for you before we go here. Again, the question was last time a player in the MLS had two free kick goals in a single game, and had anyone on FC Cincinnati ever done this before? The answer was Lucas Ryan. So again, not a crew podcast at all. Orellano just beat this record, with this one here and the longest one, because we're going to say that's real. No FC Cincinnati player had ever done this before. So you nailed it, Sam. You got it exactly right on the head there.
You were messing with my head a little bit. As soon as I said no one, you were kind of like smirking. So I had a feeling I was like, man, has Ledesma done it before? Where he's done? I mean, it feels like something he would have done because my God, like I know we've talked about his free kick skills in USL days. But happy to come out with another win. I'm feeling pretty good as of late on the trivia questions here.
Yeah. Great job. You did well. But one last final shout to my friend Mike who listens. Mike Settled, thanks for the stat on the first win in MLS history for Lucho. We appreciate that. We'll have a couple polls out for you guys this week, like we mentioned. We really want to hear, what you have to say about the FCC guys and who would make the Bengals. We'll be back next week. We'll do a little bit of a recap of the U.S. men's national team game. I believe they play Canada coming up. We'll do a preview. The U.S. will host New Zealand at TQL, and we will be in attendance. So that'll be a fun one. And then, like we said, we'll do a big deep dive of Hell is Real. Just a big game coming up. But thanks again for joining me, Sam. We will see you guys next week.